I thank the gentleman for yielding. Mr. Rao, you mentioned at the beginning you're in the process of evaluating National Standard 1 guidelines to look at a balance and increase in flexibility. Where are you in that process? When can we expect to see a proposal, so we have some idea on when it could be done?
Yeah, the short answer is we think that this fall we'll put out a proposed rule. We have, as has the Hill, been working on soliciting ideas from our stakeholders. We're still awaiting on the council chairs to see whether they will have inputs into this process. We've heard from a number of stakeholder communities. We expect to hear from the recreational community later, I think in March. So we wanted to collect all those inputs into the process before we put out a bill.
Excuse me, I mean, part of what you're hearing here today, and part's what reflected in the bill by the majority, is the very ponderous pace at which you change things. And couldn't you just say, we want comment, your ideas and suggestions by this date, because we want to move ahead. You've been in this review process for 3 years now. This is the 3rd year. And, I mean, just couldn't this move a little more quick as opposed to saying, well, gee, we're waiting to hear from people and we don't know if they're going to get something to us, but we're waiting for it, as opposed to putting out a notice to anybody who's concerned, send us your ideas by this date because we're going to move ahead and we're going to be done by this date with a proposed rule. I mean, is that too much to ask of a bureaucracy?
We did solicit an advance notice of proposed rulemaking where we asked that. What we didn't have is your deadline date.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of what you're hearing here today, is you're looking at some pretty radical changes, in my opinion, although they would say that we're not making some of those changes. But all of this is a reaction to bureaucracy, and a lot of what goes on in this town is a reaction to bureaucracy, and I would like to see a more adroit bureaucracy. So I'm just suggesting that if you could move that ahead more quickly. I guess I'd just ask, have you commented?
The councils have, but when we commented, it's actually been some time, I think, since we initially submitted comments, and at that point, the implementation was still relatively early. I think if we were to take another bite at it today, we'd have a whole nother layer of comments that would.
Well, couldn't you do that quickly? I mean, does it take you a long time too to do these things?
Sir, not nearly as long. I think we can develop comments fairly.
Okay. Thank you, I thank the gentleman from Massachusetts. Thank the chair.
Thank you, and I want to thank both the chair.